Welcome everyone to the Art Battle Boston City Championships. We are here for a very exciting day of live competitive painting. We have the best of the best artists from Boston who have won and been finalists all throughout the season. Only one artist will win the event today and will move forward into the U.S. National Championships. So we have very, very high stakes going on. My name is Morgan Booth, and I am joined by my co-host, creative person extraordinaire.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a really exciting event we've got here tonight. It is the stakes are high, so happy to be here.
And it looks like we are checking out Jess right now, and we're seeing, I think, the beginnings of a portrait. What do you think, Tyson?
Well, I'll admit the first thing I thought I was seeing is a dinosaur, so just goes to show it's hard to say at this time, but very, very exciting.
Oh man, I totally see dinosaur too. I feel I don't think it is a dinosaur, but first I was like, okay, octopus, now dinosaur, and we're only 3 minutes into the competition, so it'll be cool to see the way that these kind of abstracted flowing strokes take form from Jess here.
Absolutely. Definitely like the colors that she's using.
Yeah, that gorgeous, vibrant green over top of the subtle tones that she has going on in the backgrounds, just really nice.
And the pink in the background.
Yeah, almost getting like a sea creature in sunset kind of vibe.
Absolutely. Who's to say that sea creatures don't also enjoy a beautiful sunset?
Oh my gosh, maybe it's a mermaid.
Ooh.
Maybe we have a mermaid just bobbing her head up in this gorgeous sunset scene. So romantic.
Indeed.
All right, and we are switching to Ananda, and wow, check out the amount of paint that Ananda has going on right now and how rendered her piece is at this short amount of time.
Yeah, rendered is a great word to describe it. It's even at this distance, it's the form is so distinct, and amazing contrast just using two shades of that pink there.
Oh my gosh, the layering that she's already establishing is just coming together beautifully. I really feel like this being a 4 minute, just over 4 minute painting, is blowing my mind.
I haven't seen it yet that a painter would finish early, but who knows? Maybe we'll see it here. And
oh, I've seen it a couple times, and we like to call it a brush drop.
Really,
like,
I love
like
that.
a mic drop.
Yeah.
And the artist will just finish early, step back from the easels. It's a power move. With the way that Ananda is moving so quickly, I could definitely see her pulling one of those.
Time will tell, folks. Time will tell.
I'm really enjoying the kind of color story that we've got going on right now with this really soft orange leading to the paint.
Very true, and there's still so much that's going to be decided and expanded and detailed in the coming strokes. So again, it's anybody's guess as to how this beautiful creation will finish up.
And the green we're getting just around the shoulders, I'm feeling like maybe that's going to start suggesting some plant matter.
I hope so.
Ananda is actually one of my favorite Art Battle Boston artists. It's well, actually, it's hard to say because I've had the opportunity to see them throughout the season, and so I feel like I almost have a bias for everybody because we've seen them grow their strategy and their artwork throughout the live painting competition throughout the whole year.
That's very exciting that you have been able to see these artists before, see their progression, and see their growth. And here we are at another amazing event where they have the chance to showcase their skills. Here we are at Janaya with a very expressive face emerging in front of our eyes.
Oh, I love the expression. It's so unique of kind of upturned mouth. She's almost as if she's in the middle of speaking. And that's something that's really difficult to to communicate in a portrait. Usually we're often seeing more still passive portraits, but Jania's got lots of action going on.
Absolutely. It's quite the expression, quite the moment that we are that's been captured here.
And I'm wondering whether or not she has been rendering this portrait with marker or paint. I know that she's into paint in the hair, but we've got some really fine line work in the face that could potentially have been water. Okay, Julia Levinson. Whoa! Julia is also going at hyper. We have this awesome dog portrait, very well established at this point.
Absolutely, and the eyes have yet to be filled in, and that will be a very deciding factor for the exact character of this wonderful dog. Is it a Boston Terrier or something like that? It's kind of hard to say at the moment.
That would be so on theme, right?
That's very true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I love seeing the way that people imbue personality into animal portraits. And we're definitely getting a lot of personality already coming from this dog portrait by Julia. We see that his little eyebrows are kind of together. Concern.
And not to mention the wonderful award that this dog has received. So this is an award-winning dog that is being portrayed. So, put some respect on the name, I suppose. We gotta.
And maybe that's a well. Well, this dog already has first place, so why not just vote for him as?
That's a great choice, and a great time to plug that you all watching at home have the chance to vote as well. So be sure to hop onto the site and provide your votes for who do you think is the best. Of course, at the end of the round.
And you'll be able to pre-register to vote at artbattle.com/AB2370. That is linked right now. And also, very fun fact, all of the works created today are also available for silent auction at that same. If you're on the stream and you're watching these pieces come together and falling in love with them, you don't actually have room to be able to collect them. We'll ship them to you.
And it's always fun. Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say, wow, the progression here from Olga. Last time we saw her, a bit of kind of a gray wash going on the canvas, but this is really coming together as this just really fully immersive scene.
And I love to see that the water has been blended into the sky in what appears to be a dense fog.
Oh, that's such a great detail to point out. I didn't even notice that the fogginess is completely obscuring the horizon line of the water, and I think that just creates so much more reality for this piece, and you're getting that glow around the moon. Oh, so good.
And a lot of feeling as well. It captures a familiar feeling somehow of seeing the mist over the water.
And such a pro with these super sharp lines on the boat being drawn with just the edge of a palette knife. That's some really great knife control there. It just silenced me for a second. I'm turning my head and going, oh my gosh, how is she getting such clean lines with a palette knife? Usually you would think that an artist is using a thinner brush to do that. And I just love seeing all of these technique displayed.
Absolutely. And speaking of technique, again, a very different approach than the artists have been doing, and a very unique composition as well.
Oh, definitely. Keeping most of our focus in the top corner like this, definitely a little bit of a risky move, but I think that it's really going to help set Maggie apart because of the unique composition. And something that Maggie often does that is something that I really enjoy. We often add in these kind of whimsical moments within the. So I think that this piece is going to continue to evolve, get more narrative components.
Absolutely, with just just over 8 minutes left as well. So, and a lot more of the canvas has yet to be filled. So a lot can be decided in these last minutes.
And I feel like there's a lot of textural opportunity for me because I think it's obvious at this point that we're doing skiers and we're. So I would love to see her just layer on that white paint and give us some of that snowy texture.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're seeing her just very, very carefully outlining the bodies of her skiers here. Or mountaineers. Skiers or mountaineers? What do you think?
Good question. I'm going to go ahead and say mountaineers.
Okay, back with Jess, and this piece has definitely evolved to, I'm gonna call it and say that it's a mermaid portrait. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, yes. It almost looks also like there's foliage coming from the figure's head, and this would even could be some sort of hybrid creature with nature.
The way that it's expanding throughout the canvas too is just wonderful. And now it looks like we're octopus suckers that are being stuck onto the hair.
Okay, right. Back to your original idea that it's octopus related. Very interesting. Very intriguing. I wonder what sort of fruit that is. It looks like maybe an apple there on the right side, a few apples. I was really curious to see what she might do with the clothing, and I love the color, the combination of that warm yellowy orange and the almost turquoise teal color there. Love the color palette.
Yeah, the way that we're getting these layered patterns onto the clothing is just, oh man, this level of detail that she's achieving. And to remind everyone at this point, this is a 15-minute piece. Look at just how much she's put into this.
Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of painting that I would love to get up close to and have a real good look at the details and the different brushstrokes that she's using. Bam!
Oh, wow. Exactly. Both of us had the same reaction. We switch over to Janai and we're like, bam! Whoa! The presence of the red here just really, oh man.
Absolutely.
It's so good. It adds so much. And I am a fan of a limited palette. And just she's using this red with so much impact.
So much impact. You're right. And it's so effective to just reduce the amount of incremental elements that you're using at the time. And just as you said, these two colors are doing so much with so little.
And even just seeing the way that Janaya is chucking in these highlight pieces, we have just these really sharp lines in the hair. She's added just a few of them in the face as well. And they're just these little areas of definition that are subtle, but just really clean everything up and set things off.
Absolutely. Yeah, this picture has been set off, and it's always fun to think about each and every one of these hanging on a wall at some point, that everybody here has the opportunity to vote or to make bids to even take these paintings home at some point. And you could imagine this in a rec room or in a living room. Always so fun to think.
And you can participate in the auction and collect any of these works at artbattle.com/AB2370, the link that is right on your screen right now. Okay, back to our dog portrait with Julia. And you were so right about the eyes, Tyson, and how that just makes everything come together.
Yep. And you can tell that this is a good boy.
A very good boy indeed. An award-winning boy.
Absolutely. I love those eyes.
So, yeah, just pleading with you for to recognize his awesomeness. And I also think it's cool the color differences that she's got going on. We've got kind of this more muted blue on one side, and then yellow as the emphasis on the other side, and then the high saturation of the red in the back.
So true. It's very much a dynamic painting.
Exactly. We've got a lot going on in terms of the content of the painting and the personality of our pet portrait here, but also a huge display of technique. And I think that she's executed this in a very classical portraiture sense. But the twist is that it's a dog.
You're right. There's a sophistication to the execution here. And I was just thinking how, this dog is doing a great job being perfectly still. And yet in this painting, there's a lot of movement, a lot of energy.
And we can see some of that movement with the lines that are just outside of the face. It almost reminds me of like camera flares, like this
Mm.
pooch is being this our show dog is being photographed on the scene.
I guess that would also account for the yellowy hues on the fur.
Oh, good point. Good point. Ooh, I'm excited to come back over to Olga and see what she's got going on in this scene.
Oh, wow. It's a tall ship, and what a beautiful job she's done illustrating the mast and sail system. So much mood, and so much done again with just, 2 or 3 colors.
Exactly. The mood and the subtle levels of detail are just really helping that piece sing. Okay, back with Maggie and our definitely mountaineers.
And an element of peril has been added, really amping up the drama with that cliff edition.
Totally. All right, back with Jess and our mer portrait here.
What a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, many different dynamic lines going on. And also, I think that we have a couple of little sneaky jellyfish on the side. Wow. Ananda killing it. Oh,
Just
here's our
gorgeous.
countdown.
Yeah, wow.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, absolutely. What an introduction. Our first round of the Boston City Championships, and all 6 of these artists totally brought it.
And with such an amazing range of different themes that these artists have delved into.
Yeah, the breadth of subject matter, the different styles being displayed, the different palettes that were chosen. It's going to be a really tough time for our audience to choose which artists they think should move on. The top 2 artists from this round and from our next qualifying round will move forward into a very special final showdown with an added 10 minutes. It's going to be 30 minutes because it's the championship. We've got to give it all that we got. But you can register to vote at artbattle.com/AB2370.
Oh, and look, there was a pigment added that responds to light. Did you see that?
Cool. So Jess
Wow.
brought her own blacklight paints, and she brought her own blacklight. Amazing.
That is a
Epic.
very cool flex.
Exactly. It is a flex. It's such a flex. It's like, yeah, I'm coming to the championship and I'm bringing everything that I have in my toolkit.
And, it's important to keep those things in mind because of the nature of competitive painting. Adding elements of excitement and showmanship goes a long way.
We will be back for round number 2 in just a few minutes. We're going to have another 6 artists stepping up to the easels, a mixture of winning artists and all-star artists, all vying for their championship spot, moving on to the nationals. Some very, very exciting stuff here, and we will be back very, very shortly for round number 2, our second qualifying round.
Stay tuned.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, we have just started our second round of the Art Battle Boston City Finals. I can't wait. We have 6 more incredible artists who are vying for their spot in the US Nationals. Only one artist will win the Boston City Championships and be moving on to the US Nationals taking place on April 1st in Daytona Beach. My name is Morgan Booth, and I am here with creative man extraordinaire Tyson Cody. Welcome, Tyson.
Thank you so much, Morgan. It is exciting to be here, and Justice right here has taken us on a very exciting start to a very interesting picture. This polka dot pointillism technique is a very interesting beginning.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a painting take off in the first few seconds like this. I don't think I've actually ever seen direct dabbing from the tube either. So definitely a unique take from Justice already.
A great technique, certainly for the element of showpersonship that goes so well with the audiences that are watching. To dazzle them with a unique technique is a great approach, strategically speaking.
Yeah, the performance aspect, I think, is something that some people tend to forget when they're thinking about Art Battle, and they think about just the output of what the final piece might look like. But performance is so much a part of Art Battle because you have the audience swirling around you, watching what you're doing next, and doing something unique is a great way to engage that.
Absolutely. And it's truly the opportunity. I got to stop what I was about to say because that is an exciting maneuver that they've just pulled off here.
Oh, whoa! Yes.
Love that.
Oh man,
Fantastic.
So surprising. We're talking about show, like we're talking about performance, and then boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy technique like that. Amazing. Okay, here we are with Elton. And what are you seeing, Tyson? I think I know what I'm seeing, but I'm curious as to what you think.
Well, I'm going to say 2 things that I would be really excited that it turned out to be. Maybe an owl, or maybe a small chicken, but I'm also seeing Pikachu.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does kind of look like an owl meets Pikachu right now. We're getting so much good texture going on in the way that Elton is implying these very short, rapid brushstrokes, and I think that those are probably communicating feathers. That's my thought.
Yeah, you're right. I'm getting feathers as well, and there's a nice subtle range of colors also among the feathers, and so again, we're seeing some nice subtle variances.
And check out that little swipe that he did just turned into a beak. Like it just blows my mind the way that just a small stroke can really bring everything coming together.
A stroke of genius, truly. Yes, I am going to reuse my jokes.
Always. Love it. Love it. And he's just really just dancing this paintbrush across the canvas and also just hitting different parts of the owl at different times. Like almost every second, he's moving his hand to a different spot. So I think that's a really interesting technique, that he's not working into one spot singularly and then moving on to a next spot. He's kind of dancing all over the canvas. All right, Narvicto, one of my favorite Art Battle Boston artists, someone who I always love watching paint. So much vibrancy on the canvas already.
Absolutely. Very much a strong contrast between the almost fuchsia pink and the warm green figures in the middle.
And it's so amorphous right now, what's going on in the center of the canvas. And we can't really tell exactly what's going on with this yellow and green, but that's actually one of my favorite things about watching Narvicto paint. He layers it in all of these different unexpected ways, and his compositions reveal themselves over the course of the competition. So that's something that I'm just so excited about as we continue to watch Narvicto create this piece.
And it makes for a great strategy as well to invite the audience in, to build intrigue, to, titillate the imagination, and then bring around defining characteristics later on in the round.
Exactly. It feels very inclusive to the audience. You're almost letting them in on it as it continues to evolve.
Though it's hard to decipher an exact figure, I feel a sense of intimacy is being portrayed here.
Yeah, perhaps an embrace.
I feel that.
And we're getting these just flowing brush marks that are starting to kind of delineate our different portions here. I think maybe we've got some feet at the bottom.
It looks like it. It's an interesting dynamic composition with the heavy space and weight of that bright portion in the middle bottom right. Ooh, wow.
Here we are with Howie, and wow, this portrait is just so advanced for our barely 7-minute mark.
So true, so distinctive. Love the strong contrast under the brim of this hat.
And the pattern that's being established on the hat as well.
Working entirely in the, well, I guess not quite the negative space, but it's just the implication of a hat at this point. It seems to be a floral accoutrement.
And again, we're watching this really rapid, loose brushwork. And something for the audience to note is Howie is holding his brush almost at the end of it, and that allows for quite a loose brush stroke. And there's a lot of kind of gesture that gets thrown into there when an artist is holding their brush in that way. And I believe that this is our wild card artists. Very exciting to have a wild card at the championship because it really just turns everything on its head and gives the opportunity to someone from the crowd to potentially even go to nationals.
And on the subject of brush strokes, Ryan has taken a very interesting approach with a wider brim brush or a wider brush with broad strokes, and yet still a very interesting form with lots of nuance and interesting color choices.
And really loaded up too. I'm loving the amount of paint that's being laid down with each stroke.
Absolutely.
We are just about 12 minutes into the round, and voting is now open at artbattle.com/AB2370. So if you haven't gotten registered to vote yet, make sure that you head over to that link and enter your phone number, and you will get texted your very own voting link. You can also participate in the auction. All of the pieces created today are available for silent auction at that link as well. You don't need to be on site to be able to purchase these works. Okay, David Edmondson. He is just such a joy to watch, and actually is a defending artist. He went to the Nationals last year and represented Boston.
And you can see why he might have succeeded so, because this is a really interesting approach, a really interesting technique, completely different from the other painters at the moment. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, the crowd really loves watching David. And as we've been talking about that performance aspect, David really, really brings that to the audience with all of these super unexpected techniques. Like with this, we missed the moment that he created this kind of swirl in the center here, but I'm almost guaranteeing that he poured a bunch of paint on and then took a string and laid it around and pulled it up. I've seen him do that before, so I'm thinking that that's probably how this piece started.
Very cool. And right into the paint he's gone, fingers first. He is committed, he is dialed in, he is a part of this painting now. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's almost like he's creating a barrier around what feels like maybe a butterfly wing, something of that nature, or a floral.
Hmm.
It almost looks like he's creating a barrier around it so that the paint doesn't continue to spread.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
just wild techniques here, and so just so intuitive in the way that he works. And he's formulated all of these techniques. These are completely his own.
It's very deliberate. He knows just what to do at the moment, and he's taking us on a very wonderful journey.
And the way that he's just bouncing his fingers within that paint, I love it. He's just the absolute king of working with wet paint. Oh, interesting evolution here from Justice. We have these two color fields that Justice created earlier with that squeegee technique, and now he's or they've boxed them in with this black portion.
An extremely bold choice to cover so much of the canvas in black, and I gotta say, I am here for it.
And I think that maybe there's a tree that is starting to come into the zone in our bottom corner there. Yes, I think that's a tree.
I'm seeing that as well. And there's some iconography there. It looks like a bowl containing a liquid on the bottom left, and then on the top right, it looks like there's a cat's head. What do you
And
see?
yeah, I'm definitely seeing it looks like a cauldron in that bottom area of color. And then, yeah, I think a cat at the top. But also, there's this kind of interesting continuous line drawing in the cat, which is a technique that I always find really interesting.
Hmm. It almost looks like some ancient scribe.
Yeah. Okay, Elton. Elton has been so smart in the way that he's put this piece together. We have so much luminosity going on from our owl here that he started with this super, super light color on top of the white canvas and then chose to build his black background around it.
You're so right about that. A great approach. And there's so much character that has been baked into this owl, and it's been so exciting to see it transform over the duration of this period, which is just about 13 minutes in.
And we can see he's just bringing these brush strokes right up against the head of the owl and really carving it out and giving us a little bit more of a sharper composition. The level of contrast here is just wonderful.
Mhm.
Oh, this is so fun. So I think it's a single character that has like a duvet, but it's a duvet like creature sitting on top of it. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now, but I love it.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like a surreal comic almost. It has like it almost has the Flintstones vibe to me.
And that's so indicative of Nervicto's style. Often we find that the translation from an artist's studio work or their regular practice and what their non-timed work looks like has to be really, really adapted to be able to work in art battle. Nervicto has this special skill set where he brings so much of his studio style into his art battle space, and he just does his surreal characters and just I love it. I love the way his pieces come together. All right, Howie. Whoa, blowing my mind. I feel like we could get a brush drop from Howie at any moment with this piece. This is looking very finished.
Howie Wowie, this is amazing. It's such an amazing array of colors. I love the deep hues in the chest and coat that this figure is wearing. The beautiful floral array on the top of the hat. Incredible.
And the way that we really are understanding the shadow that's being cast by the brim of the hat and how dense it is and the way that it falls on the face, I think that's a really interesting element to this piece.
Ryan really going there with an element of gore, which strategically speaking could work for him or could work against him. I wonder, does Boston like its gore? You can add in the comments.
Yeah, definitely a risky move here with this piece, but I think we also have the opportunity to appreciate some of the more textural components as well. But yeah, that gore element is very dominant within this piece. I'm getting Frankenstein vibes, or the creature, more accurately, of Frankenstein.
Right. I can see that.
The addition of that super bright yellow at the top of the face is something that I think adds a lot to this piece, because we've got all of this denseness and more somber tones, and then we have those pops of saturation in that yellow there.
You're so right, and I think that's one of the things that makes this painting so strong, is that it has beautiful, bold, contrasting colors.
And the evolution of this piece by David, wowza, wowza, wowza. Check out the actual 3D texture of these flowers.
There is a lot of elegance in this wonderful floral scene.
And we can see that that butterfly is just like perched in our, I think, a daffodil here. And David's ability to sculpt with paint is something that's so impressive.
Press. Indeed, and again, understandable how he's won before.
And even just the way that kind of buttery yellow plays at the top with adding that more subtle opportunity and allowing the more colorful elements to shine, it's not competing.
You're so right. It really contributes to a beautiful gentleness in the ambiance.
And we have just about 2.5 minutes remaining in this round. And shortly, we will be determining all 4 artists moving forward into the finals. We have our top 2 artists from the first round, and our top 2 artists from this qualifying round will be moving forward into a 30-minute final showdown, the winner of which will move forward to the U.S. National Championships taking place on April 1st at Daytona Beach. Wow, just the careful application.
Loving the addition of this new color.
Me too. That kind of like purpley color just works so well with all of the yellow tones within that piece. Okay, so we've got a text element that Justice has now added into this piece.
Huh!
Exactly. It's definitely got that automatopoeia kind of vibe. Ooh, check out the directional approach that Elton has taken now, and we're adding that just little bit of surreal element by having the feathers kind of cascade into the wind here, and that creature just being pulled really adds a lot to the piece. Okay, Narvicto.
It's an action owl.
It is an action owl. Ah, Narvicta. This piece is so much fun, and you really, even though the forms of the figure are so simplified, you still get that sensation that they're moving forward in space. Howie's just chilling now.
And we're zipping around right on. He is, absolutely. He could throw this this brush down and people would applaud him, I'm sure. Beautiful piece.
All right, getting into our
Back
final.
to Ryan, a very intriguing image.
Gonna throw it to the venue now to get our countdown.
6, 5, 4, 3,
All right, now is your time to vote at artbattle.com/AB2370.
Looks like a great vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Look at all of the art lovers in the room, and also not to forget all of our art lovers who are chatting with us and watching with us on the stream. We appreciate you, and you can vote at the link that is on the screen, and you can also participate in the auction. It is super, super important to cast your vote, even though it might be difficult to choose which artist is your favorite. We are often hearing from our voting manager, Gina, that it can be a very tight race, and so your vote could make the difference for one of these artists. So make sure that you support them there at that link. We will be announcing our finalists in a few short moments as the votes pour in, and we will be back for round number 3 in just a few minutes as well. So stay tuned to watch the continuation of the Art Battle Boston City Championships, see who makes it forward into the final round and who from the final round makes it forward into the U.S. National Championships to represent Boston. So very, very exciting stuff today, and we will be back with our winner announcement, our finalist announcement, in just a few minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we have just started our third and final round of the Art Battle Boston City Championships. We are going to have 30 minutes on the clock this time, and it is high stakes because the winner of this round will be moving forward to the U.S. National Championships taking place on April 1st. My name is Morgan Booth, and I am here with Tyson Cody, and we are your co-hosts for today.
Third round, 30 minutes. This is exciting, and we have the victors from the prior 2 rounds to show their stuff.
And right now we are looking at Ananda, and Ananda looks like she's starting another portrait.
Just the form and a subtle illustration taking shape here.
And really smart technique starting off with this yellow as well. I think that's going to be great to layer over top of because it's such a subtle color.
Absolutely, and starting off with a bright or a light color is definitely a bold strategic choice and an interesting technique. So much shadow and shape will take form over the next 28 minutes.
And we can see that Ananda is starting to get into the portrait with a little bit of rose hue as well. And she's just so fast from laying down her initial strokes in this yellow to right away moving into this darker color to emphasize the subject.
And just a beautifully executed drawing at that.
I can't wait to see what Ananda does. She's one of my favorites. Okay, we're here with Howie, and I think that we're getting another hat focus, potentially.
I'd believe it. Bold, beautiful stripes. And a side note, it's just so fun to look in the background as well to see the beautiful atmosphere here at Art Battle Boston.
And we're actually at a place called Artists for Humanity, which is a really cool space in Boston that actually provides creative jobs to teenagers.
You were telling me that earlier, and that is just such a cool initiative and would be such a great opportunity for these youths.
Seeing Howie adding in some of these grade tones into... I feel like it's a hat. I feel like it's got to be a hat.
I'm getting hat as well. I think you're probably spot on that. And at that, what is left to unfold below that hat? That's the great mystery that we are left with here.
Yeah, it's an interesting technique for Howie to be executing the hat so clearly right off the bat and not kind of letting us in any way on what's going on underneath it. And I think that that's a good reveal strategy.
Would you look at that? A hat right off the bat, and it all just sort of rhymes.
And we can see him working into this lighter tone into the red. And as he's dragging it, it's picking up a little bit of that red pigment and going pink, which is just this beautiful gradation that's happening.
Absolutely.
And here we are with Elton.
Oh, another owl is subtly emerging in the light ethos of this painting.
Oh, totally. I initially, when we first came around the corner, I was trying to figure out what this was. I was thinking maybe it was going to be an elephant, but you're so right. We're definitely getting an owl in flight, and I think it's going to be a barn owl with the way that he's got the face shaping up right now.
And speaking of strategy, Elton to have drawn again on the imagery of an owl will be familiar and fresh in the audience's memories and may very well serve to, build allegiance to with those who have already voted and intrigued the new voters as well.
And I think it's also going to be a great piece as a companion to his qualifying round piece. Very collectible together, and definitely will look good as a set.
That is a great point. And a great time to plug that, that folks at home are able to participate in the online auction so you could actually be the owner of these paintings. Picture them in your space, picture them in your living room, in your bathroom, in your bedroom. These are beautiful pieces of work that could be yours.
And it's such a great way to collect art as well because you're supporting these artists, but the biggest emphasis, I think, is that you're literally seeing these paintings being born. And so, really, when you're collecting one of these pieces from Art Battle, you're also collecting the memory of every brushstroke of it and you witnessing how it all came together.
That is so true.
All right, Olga here with a cat portrait, I think.
It appears to be a regal shat.
Wow, the way the fur is coming off of the neck and like just fluffing forward is really nice. And we're working in all of these very, very subtle tones right now.
Absolutely, and still so much of the canvas yet to be brought to life. Will it go fantastical? Will it go, perhaps a kitchen in the background? This could be anything and everything by the end of it.
That's such a good point. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was just completely focused on the cat. I wasn't even thinking about what kind of environment the cat would be existing in, but that's going to be an interesting element to see how it evolves within this piece by Olga.
Yeah, cats aren't to be, underestimated as far as the vast ranges of environments that they can thrive in. That's why they're actually one of the biggest invasive species in North America. Did you know?
I did not know. But we have this cat here invading Art Battle, and I'm sure stealing hearts. I think that this piece is, in its recognition or in its recognizability, is going to be something that connects with the audience quite well, because I'm sure that we got some cat fans in here.
Absolutely. They are beautiful and fierce and regal.
We are just about at the 22-minute mark, which means that we are almost through our extra 10 minutes, our extra gifted 10 minutes to these artists. Usually they have 20 minutes only on the canvas. Today they have 30 in the final round, and I think everyone has used that extra time really, really well. Look at how advanced Ananda's piece is in these 10 minutes.
Absolutely. There's so much warmth and presence in this figure here painted, and I love the light blue hair.
Me too. And the way that she's approaching this piece is very watercolory. We're getting a lot of the luminosity of the canvas doing a lot of the work for her here, and she's just layering transparencies.
Layering transparencies. That's so true. There's still so much lightness, and even at this time with 20 minutes to go, it's such a captivating painting.
And also, I think worth noting, Ananda is a self-taught artist.
That is so cool. And I wonder what she's listening to.
Yeah, we can see that Ananda is definitely in her own world. She's not really worried about the presence of the crowd or the audio music that's on site. She's just in her own space creating.
And if her inner world looks anything like this painting, that is a peaceful environment I'd love to be.
The addition of this gorgeous, subtle green is making me think that this figure is maybe sitting outside, perhaps relaxing in a garden.
Mm-hmm.
Our portrait is being revealed.
And what a character it is. Amazing.
Epic. The way the sunglasses are just glowing is so much fun.
I'm also getting a hint of the Americana that we might expect to see at Art Battle Boston. I love that the hat and yeah, quite the figure.
Yeah, definitely getting that Americana vibe. And I just also saw an adjustment that Howie made on the fly where the hat was too skinny for the face before, and he's just added this extra strut on the hat. And I think that that was a good display of being able to assess what a painting needs and fix it.
Absolutely, that's a great point, and he expertly executed that addition there. Sort of gives me a little bit of reminiscence of Ralph Steadman, sort of the psychedelic figure.
I totally see that. I totally see Stedman energy. And we can see the way that Howie is working into the hair right now is just continuing to make this piece come together so well. Something that I enjoy about the way that Howie paints is he really gets a lot of opacity and coverage in each spot before moving on to the next.
Beautiful work emerging here with Elton. Love the background, love the orange and the rich burgundy, adding, again, a beautiful sense of luminosity.
Luminosity is totally the right term to describe Elton's work here. He just is doing so well at being able to communicate the way that light is hitting our owl here.
I'll give full credit to you for the use of the word luminosity earlier. I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
One of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. An intriguing narrative as well taking place here with the lantern that's being carried by this majestic bird.
Yeah, that's such a great narrative element that's now been introduced to this piece. And we've gone from this amazing nature portrait to something that is also telling a story. Because in day-to-day life, in regular nature, we obviously wouldn't have an owl carrying a lantern. So this element of storytelling is very intriguing.
Very intriguing, very tantalizing to the imagination, and will surely do well to please the audience here at Art Battle Boston.
And once again, just a reminder to anyone who is joining us on the stream, you can get registered to vote at artbattle.com/AB2370. And it is very, very important that you guys vote because the winner of this round will be moving forward to the U.S. National Championships taking place on April 1st in Daytona Beach. Okay, back with Olga.
Get your votes in, please, folks.
Back with Olga here, and I feel like we're starting to see some interesting striping elements happening. Maybe the cat also has a blanket over top of it.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of sophistication with this character. I think it's the really full tuft around the cat's neck that gives it a regality.
That is the exact right word. And it totally is that tuft that gives it that regality. This cat has so much presence.
It gives off little lion vibes, you know, and I'm sure the cat's got its eyes on some bird in a nearby tree.
Yeah, trying to think about what the cat is gazing up at is going to be fun. And I wonder whether or not we're going to get the answer to that from Olga within the composition.
And with just over 14 minutes left, there's still so much of the canvas to be filled and the mystery to be resolved.
And I also really like picturing this cat looking up at David's butterfly from the last round. That's the world that I want these two to live in.
Wow. That's a beautiful little fantasy. I like that.
It's the art battle nerd in me
Pastoral
imagining.
scene.
It's the art battle nerd in me imagining that all of the paintings are friends together.
Tranquil. That's awesome.
Oh, the contrast that Ananda has introduced here.
Okay.
It's hair.
Look at that. Yes, such an amazing choice to have distinctive colors on either side of the figure's head, on both the right and the left corner. Such amazing contrast, and it adds so much to the magic of this scene.
Totally. And it creates this really interesting balancing element as well, which is not something that we often see used is just color as a balancing element. But by creating those two tones of the purple and the green, she's definitely doing that.
Somehow I picture that the colors, the green and the purple above her head, are somehow reflections of how she feels, and she's in a moment, you know, reflecting and experiencing different kinds of emotions that it may be contrasting for her. She seems deep in thought.
That's such a great point, and it's something that I really enjoy about having these kinds of discussions around art is we all see something different. So when I'm looking at it and I'm seeing this compositional element from a technical standpoint, you're also seeing that, but you're seeing the added layer of the emotions that are contained within those colors.
I think that's the luxury of a little bit of technical ignorance for me.
I love it though. I think that it's such a great way to just bounce off of each other, and Art Battle really does that for people. We get to all participate in the visual discussion that's happening right now.
And I would love to be a fly on the wall for some of the discussions happening in the room there at the Artists for Humanity Center. That's
And
what it
that's
is.
often why we also highlight Art Battle as a great date night event, because it's the subject matter to discuss is already in front of you and you get to chat about art. We often see a lot of first dates happening at Art Battle. So if you've been on a first date at Art Battle, we would love to hear about it in the chat.
Well, you know, Morgan, I can say that I have personally been on dates to the Art Battle in Toronto. I've been going to the Art Battle Toronto for years, and I'm so happy to be involved now in the capacity of providing some online commentary here with you, and having done so for the last two Art Battles here in Toronto. So now here we are for Art Battle Boston. Very exciting stuff, and thanks again for having me.
Oh, we love having you, and especially for the Boston Championships. We wanted to make sure that we had some exciting commentary going down. And Howie is really doing a great job of finishing this piece, and once again, just creating those finished components before moving on to the next step. It's a really interesting way of building the painting.
Absolutely, and he's achieved so much in just over 11 minutes.
We have just about 10 minutes remaining in the round, just under 10 minutes. So these artists are really into their final third of this round and are committed to their pieces and are really now just into that honing space where they're putting details in.
Yeah, the extra 10 minutes here is a real a game changer, really. You know, it adds such another third of the period of time. So there's so much more that can be done. And here, as we can see with Elton, also people have already done so much and could very well step away in a minute or two. But it's anybody's guess, and that is the excitement of the live painting competition.
Oh my gosh, my favorite part of this that has just evolved is the green light that's coming from the lantern, and then that green light bouncing up onto the body of the underside of the owl. That's such a cool detail.
So true.
And we can see
And the
Elton.
choice to add a bit of color as well to the white feathers of this owl. It's, you know, there's the colors are very much of a. Go ahead.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. The addition of the colors within the white plumage of the feathers is so great because he's able to achieve this level of depth that usually we would reserve for high contrast and darker colors, but he's really achieving that here with those feathers. Back with Olga and our cat here. And with 7 minutes remaining on the clock, I'm wondering whether or not Olga is going to choose to keep this background blank and stay keeping the focus on the cat and having our negative space here, or if we're going to get some surprise background elements.
That's so true, and there's still so much that can be revealed about, you know, what is this cat up to? You know, what is the narrative? What is the story? And what has captivated the attention of this feline?
And I'm loving the blue that's in the stripes on the legs of the cat. And I hope that we see more of that being introduced within the fur. I just really like that hit of blue. It's unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So much attention to detail has gone into the crafting of this cat, and it'll be interesting to see how Olga divides the remainder of her time for achieving filling in the rest of the painting.
For me, also a piece of this painting that I really like is the little, just very subtle C shape of the mouth. For some reason, just that little tiny shape, because it's so simple but executed so well. I love it. That's my favorite part.
And it certainly adds just that extra level of cuteness.
Exactly. That's where the cuteness is. It's in the mouth. Give us our little nose and mouth boop opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, stunning from Ananda. The addition of our fishnet glove is very cool as well. We're getting some of those fashion elements introduced.
Très chic.
And we really are getting a sense of the way that the fabric is sitting on the body here, just with the subtle variations of highlight and lowlight that she's used in the folds of the fabric.
Absolutely. I'm loving the little details that are sprinkling the figure, and I'm curious about the hair, the details in the hair. Those are very interesting little spots of color that add even more detail and intrigue to the picture.
Yes, I'm wondering whether or not they're little flowers that are sprinkled throughout the hair.
Mm, okay. Wow.
Yeah, Howie has just done such a phenomenal job of really creating this full, well executed portrait that has so many great points of more neutralized colors and then high saturation, and it just makes for a very satisfying piece overall.
And it really stimulates the imagination for story, for thinking about what is this character up to. They seem to be wearing a tie, sort of a grayish beige shirt, so blue collar America, but wearing the tallest of hats and these striking glasses that obscure the eyes, so we never really get to know who they are.
Yeah, it definitely creates that sense of mystery. All right, back with Elton, and oh my God, this piece has just come together so beautifully. He's done such a great job at rendering the body of this owl in such a unique pose. That would be very difficult.
And since the last time we saw this painting, Elton has added some beautiful feathers, which has really added a striking sense of movement and dynamic movement here. Quite incredible.
And just a slight blip on our camera. Oh, here we're back. Great. Oh, yes, he's added all of these feathers flying around it, too.
So cool. He's achieved so much here in the 2.5 or 27 minutes. Oh, wow. Okay.
This blue color up against this kind of tawny coloring of the cat is really nice and provides that kind of cool contrast that we were looking for.
Absolutely.
And she's also got some darker tones of the blue farther out into the canvas and then is bringing lighter tones into the center, which is kind of creating a little bit of a glow effect.
Yeah, there's definitely a glow. There's introduction of some nice darker blue down at the bottom as well, but it's a peaceful moment, it seems.
All right, heading into our final 90 seconds. Oh my goodness.
Back to Ananda. What has she done in the last moments? I can't wait to see.
This is such a fully realized portrait and environment. She's just given us so many layers of energy within this piece.
Absolutely. So much energy, so much texture and unique colors that are drawing in the audience into this moment.
Also, an interesting choice from Howie to kind of juxtapose the execution of this portrait with more graphic design elements within the background.
Absolutely. It seems maybe a slice out of a comic book.
Just getting in those final few strokes from Elton there.
11,
Wow, what a final for the Art Battle Boston City Championships. Tyson, any faves?
Oh, that would be, oh my gosh, it's hard to say. I think Ananda's got to, absolutely hold one of the spots. But
Yeah,
Howie also, I'm loving the bold choice, loving the bold colors and the comic book style.
yeah, that kind of blend of realism versus a little bit more of that graphic novel kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, not Howie, Elton, with just the phenomenal execution of his owl in flight, and then Olga with our very proud feline.
So true. Elton's is very elegant and dynamic. And very impressive, and it's important to remember, as angelic as that owl looks, it's a bird of prey, and so there's still that ferocity in the moment.
Exactly. Oh man, it's going to be tough to choose, but now is the time. If you are watching with us on this stream and you have yet to register to vote, make sure that you do so at artbattle.com/AB2370. That is where you will choose your favorite artist and help us determine who's going to be the representative for Boston moving to the U.S. National Championship. So we have some really high stakes here and lots of excitement going on. So stay tuned for our winner announcement coming up in just a few moments.
the winner of this year's Art Battle Boston City Championship is Ananda Tulan. Amanda will get a paid trip to Daytona to compete in the national championship April 1st. So stay tuned. Go to artbattle.com and you can vote in that one too remotely. Your vote is not a 100% vote, but you can still vote. So check it out. It's usually in the evening at that point. You can stick around. We're going to do some open painting.
Amazing. So our winner has just been announced, and moving forward into the U.S. National Championships representing Boston will be Ananda Tulan.
Ananda is going to Daytona Beach. Everybody, that is amazing and well-deserved. She did two amazing paintings this evening or this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal level of creativity and execution and nuance within her pieces. She's definitely going to be a tough competitor to beat at Nationals.
Definitely.
And we also want to extend a huge thank you to all 12 of our artists who painted with us tonight. It takes a huge amount of creativity and courage to step up to these easels. And if you have been watching and your mirror neurons are firing and you would like to paint in Art Battle as well, just head on over to our website and apply. We would love to see your work, and we have competitions all over the world. So congrats again to Ananda Tulan and to our championship series in Boston. Our team put together a really phenomenal season this year, and we're so grateful for them. And thanks again, Tyson Cody, for joining me on the stream today and providing your awesome art insights.
Thank you so much, Morgan. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much, Art Battle.
All right, we will be back on the stream coming up very shortly on Wednesday. Tyson and I will be hosting Art Battle Las Vegas, so stay tuned to our social channels so that you don't miss that stream, and we will see you guys soon.
See you soon.